3, 2.
And you're such a ham, Ricky.
Alakazam.
Hey, everyone.
Right.
If you can just give us the heads up if you can hear me okay. Welcome to Earth Day 2025, Our Power, Our Planet, Our Paint Jam.
If I can see it. Thumbs up. Anyone gives a
Thumbs up, just so we know you can hear. Awesome.
Thanks, Deni. Thanks, Bridget.
Thanks, guys, and thanks for coming. This is like something that's really close to my heart, is the environment and our planet and what we can do. You know, it can feel incredibly powerless, or I can feel powerless to know what to do to help the situation that we've got happening in the world. So things like this is, you know, we're artists, we paint, so we come together, and just the intention of being here and painting together, I would love to believe that this has some positive effect, putting colour and joy out into the world. Yeah, so that's why I'm doing this. And also, you know, from that power point of view, I'm always looking for ways to correct my footprint. And at the moment, what I'm doing is just trying to bring everything closer in. So buying local and buying fresh, and, you know, just thinking about what I do buy so I'm not overspending. And that, I think that that's really all we can do, really, is just do ourselves. So that's my message for Our Power, Our Planet.
People coming and joining us now. So.
Beautiful, beautiful. Welcome, 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 everybody. I'm going to be painting these 2 canvases behind me, so I'll move between one and the other.
Okay, let's get a bit of music going while we're waiting. So.
Okay, am I still talking? Can you still hear
Yeah, you
me?
can still hear you.
And
There's still people joining, so just give it a few seconds.
okay, all right.
Just talk amongst yourself then.
I'm also really happy that Bluetti has sponsored us, which is really cool. They've given us backup power, because we do go on the road often and we need backup power, and they are a clean energy backup power system, which is awesome. For me, that's doing the best you can do, is to keep your energy as clean as possible.
Yeah,
And so today I'm going to paint with all sorts of colours, because I thought I just want to keep it like greens, blues, pinks, reds. I'm going to put them all onto 1 or 2 of these canvases. I'll probably start off with some darker layers and then go brighter on top. So if you're following along, then that's what I'm going to do. I'll probably start differently on both, but definitely the first one I'm going to be putting down some darker layers first. Hopefully they'll have a chance to dry when I swap to the other one, and I won't get a huge just planet of mud. You know, I like intentional mud.
They love your apron.
Oh, good.
Oh, somebody from Spain. Hola.
Beautiful, beautiful. So these paint jams, you know, I love it when my studio is full of artists. And this is my way of having the opportunity to fill my studio with artists. That's why I really love doing these paint jams. And I want to do more of them. Our intention is to do 1 a month. So please come along once a month. You can ask any questions in between. But what I'd really love, what times work for you, or what days work for you? We do want to try and make it the best time for everyone, which for us to get Europe, the European part of the world, and the US part of the world, Canada, is morning for us. So that seems to be the best time for everyone to get as many people as possible. I know in Europe it gets a bit late, but if we do it the other way around, then we completely miss out the other part of the world. It's just, but it's...
We're in Isla there at the moment.
Ah, yay, beautiful, beautiful to see you from all over. Hopefully you can paint along with me too. Have we got enough in now? We can start. It's so cool to be able to be here with people from all over the world, especially for something so cool as Earth Day 2025. So, you know, also put in the chat any questions that you want answered today, anything that, any queries at all, just put them into the chat and Ricky will let me know and I'll answer them as we go.
It's only Wednesday and Tuesday this week because of Earth Day.
Yes.
Normally we'll try for the weekend.
Normally we'll try for the weekends, as we did during the last paint jam and during the messy middle. It's just today because it's Earth Day. It's Earth Day overseas. It's Earth Day yesterday for us, but we just thought we'd try and cover it for as many people as possible. I guess it's still Earth Day, really. Doesn't matter if it goes for 2 days.
Every day's Earth Day, Jenny, when you're around.
Okay, so I'm going to be working with pots and with the palette, so hopefully you're going to paint along with me as well. I've got all my favourite colours. I've also got the pots that I was using yesterday. So as you know, when if you've been here with me before, I use the pots from the day before in today's paint, and I just keep developing the colours. So I was painting all day yesterday in the studio, so I do have leftover palette, and I'm going quite bright at the moment. So I did go through a bit of a neutral phase, and now I'm starting pretty bright, and then I'm pulling it back. So I'll give you a look at what I've got over on my palette table. Ricky, can you?
Yes. There you are.
Right, so as you can see, there's a bit of everything. I've got some browns and blacks on this one, and I've got pink, fluoro pink and yellow, because I'm hoping to do more of an orangey kind of palette on one, and my whites, and then these are the pots that I had out yesterday. So I'll just keep kind of developing them. There's lots of neutrals. I do like to start off with quite transparent, and then I use my neutrals and my blacks to bring the opacity in. So, and I've got a really kind of beautiful, almost like a very, very light blue there, which I'll also put a bit of yellow into at some point and make it a very light green. So I'm just going to kick it off. Hopefully you've got your paints out, and even if you're not going as big as I am, I hope you paint along with me. I'm going to start off by putting some dark layers down. So if we can go to the canvas again, Ricky.
Go back over the canvas. Yeah.
I'm just going to put some of my browns together. This is just burnt umber and black. Now, I'll try and not do too much water on these early layers so that they do get a chance to dry. But I do like starting with a lot of water to get some coverage across the paint.
Now, let's just ask you about this spray paint. Do you use some nozzles to get more of a line rather than a mist?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I prefer getting a line than a mist. So I try and choose the nozzles based on that. I've got a whole variety of them, to be honest, the nozzles. But in general, I try and get a more directional line when I'm using. That's the transparent umber, slightly more of a browny tone in there, which is yummy. Just going to get some more coverage with these colours.
Lots of people painting along. It's awesome.
Yay! And so what I'll do is I'll just keep going, and we're going to do it with music. So I'll get Ricky to put on a song, and I'll just cover this canvas as much as I can, and then I'll swap over to the other one and come back and see if there's any questions. So please paint along with me and enjoy Ricky's song list.
That's the pressure.
You can probably turn it up too while we're... Okay, I'm going to give that a little bit of a time to dry because I got a lot of water on there. Pardon? Yeah. It's a good start. Okay, how's everyone going? Did you get your first layers on there? I think I'm going to start brighter on this one. So I quite like starting in different ways. So if I start that on one, I'll probably use a similar palette, but I'll go completely different on the next one because that'll bring up, they'll look like they're in the same family, but they'll be quite different because I've begun them in different ways. And I often find that no matter how I start, they end up somewhere that just feels like me because obviously I'm the one painting them. So I challenge myself to start in different ways so that I do get different results. So it's a good thing for when you're starting out. How's everyone going there, Ricky?
Yep, painting away.
Everyone's painting away. I love it. Okay, well, I'm just going to go straight into the second canvas and get some paint on there so that they get... Pardon? Oh, you're on the palette now?
Yeah, what are you on?
Yeah, so I'm going to be starting with some pinks and oranges on this one. So you start where you want. I will be bringing in some different colours, but I'm just going to start here and let them dry. Hopefully that one will dry and I'll be able to get some more layers onto that one. But I'm just going to go for it with some brights. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of water there?
A lot of water.
Yeah. Oh, even more.
Gets nice orange. Very into orange at the moment. Well, that's bright. Okay. Orange.
Finish your coffee yet?
Didn't quite come out as bright as I wanted. My coffee, yeah, I did ages ago. If I can get that brighter. Just want to get some good amount of paint onto this one. So these beginning layers are just about getting some coverage, something for me to work with. My orange is not quite getting as bright as I want, so I'll keep working on that. I love like a bright orange with a bright pink. But I'll develop it over time. I don't always get there straight away. I'll just keep going with this, and maybe Ricky can play us some more music so you've got something to paint along to as well.
Talk about pressure.
Bit of black eyed peas, perfect. Yeah, my favourites are Matisse and Golden. They're the ones I use the most, but I will grab anything. I'd use Nova if I could get it here.
Yeah.
We can get Golden, but it's really expensive, but it's so beautiful. Liquitex, I use Liquitex. I particularly love the Liquitex inks.
Yeah.
And the Liquitex fluoros are pretty good too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good start. So I've got one dark canvas and one bright canvas. And because there's quite a bit of paint on there and quite a bit of water, I use the rolls to just dry them off in the early layers, because sometimes I'll leave them to dry or I will get the hairdryer on them. But if I'm in a situation like this or in a class, I'll just get the extra bit of water off with this. Because it's so early, I'm not too concerned about what I might lose in the vibrancy or the depth of the colour, because I can always come back and put more in. This is just about really starting off by having some fun and getting some paint down. So in the early layers, honestly, it's about play. And I know you probably hear this a lot. And sometimes it doesn't feel like play to you guys, but it's just, for me, it's just getting some stuff onto the canvas and getting myself excited about wanting to paint more. So by keeping it pretty simple and doing one dark and one really bright, it's both of them have me excited to do more to them, because anything that I put on this will make the brights even brighter, and anything that I put onto the other one will make the really deep, dark colours really pop. So often you'll see me and I'll start with something like this, that they both are so different from each other, but they're cool. Can you keep the camera this way rather than the other?
That one?
This one's better, yeah. I think you can see easier if you have that one.
More shine on it. That's okay.
So there you go, there's another beautiful bright. So I'll just check on the other one. I'm going to swap them over again. I know it is, but it's much nicer when they're straight on rather than too much to the side. Okay.
Well, it is on the angle. That was the angle.
Okay. How are you going on with your paintings? You seen them all painting?
Yeah.
There we go. Right. Gonna hit the exact spot, I get into trouble. There you go. Right. Now I'm wanting to do something a bit brighter on this one. So I'm thinking I'm going to go into like blues and greens on this one, just to kind of do something different than the pink, and then we'll have two completely different canvases going on. And we might bring some of the others back in. So I'll use,
What you got there?
I'm going to use this palette here to bring in some blues. So if you are mixing and you do have you do have the ability to have a couple of palettes, and you're in a situation like this, it's quite good to keep your warm colours and your cool colours separate, because as soon as you start mixing those two together, you do start getting those muddy colours, whereas if you keep them separate, you can keep them pretty bright. So I've got some turquoise here, some phthalo turquoise, so I'm going to put that on there, and I'm also going to put some green gold. So I've got a lot of Goldens and Matisse today on the palette, and I'll probably bring some white onto this palette too. That gives you a good idea of what they look like. And right, I'm going to get some of that onto the canvas now. Look at that beautiful colour. I'll start off with them quite saturated, just to bring colour on, just to get a bit of that really bright, because I do have that dark underneath. That will give me this other tone, which is just so beautiful. This would probably be my favourite colour, other than, you know, my beautiful pinks. I do love these bluey green teals. And I do like using hard brushes to get some strokes into the early layers, so you can see them, well, both early and later. And I'll put some solid areas as well. And we might bring some of okay, not so keen on that green. Pull some more of that phthalo onto the palette. So this is the phthalo green. Sorry, turquoise, but I'm mixing it with the browns and the umbers at the moment, just to get a really deep sort of greeny colour. So even though it looks really deep, I am getting some of that green into the deep colours, which will help on later layers. And I tend to put quite a bit of these deep colours on, because again, if you've done anything with me, I'll come back and reverse it. So if I get some nice areas of deeper colour, I can scratch back into them later and get the pops of colours back. And they also give you a nice amount to get some good textures in the early layers as well. So some of those greens are beautiful, and some of the darker colours give me some nice stuff to work with in later layers. So I'll get some more of that on there.
Hilda loves that. See it in the brown.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. And like I say, in the end, this will probably start looking a bit too dark, but it's I know that I can come back in a later layer, so I'm not really caring that I do at this point. Pardon?
The more front facing the camera, doesn't have the shine, so we get a bit of colour.
Oh, cool. I'm going to add some blue to this, light blue. So I won't bring on too many of the too many of the opaque colours yet, like the whites, because at this point I know that that's just going to go really muddy. So I'm just going to try and get these early layers in with a few different colours, and then I'll let it dry for a bit and swap the canvas.
Yep. Okay.
But what I might do is, if I can find a palette knife, if I can't find a palette knife, I can use this. There we go. Is I'll just maybe just get some scrapes into it. Who knows if in later layers these disappear, but I like getting them in there anyway. Just to get some stuff that I can work with at a later stage. It's almost like using a very fine pencil or pen.
So we're using canvas, it's just stuck up on those boards, right?
Yeah, so this is unstretched canvas. It's relatively good quality. I think it's about a 12 gram pre-primed canvas, and it's about 40 by 40 I'm painting on today, but we've got it wrapped around the boards for you, so there's enough to stretch at a later time. And I'll just, as I did before,
You'll end up being about 35, 36, roughly 35 by 35.
yeah, and I won't get a chance to finish them today, but if you're following along here, then we will probably end up putting them onto YouTube. So if you're not already, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Pardon? I love it. Like, I don't know if you can see there, but there's just beautiful, the colours that are happening there are just really lovely by blending them all together.
You're just smudging it, you know, to get that effect.
Yeah, I'm just using this as a, which is cool, because even when you blend it to get some of those marks, there's just some really nice stuff going on. And in these early layers, as I say, it's quite good to do this because I can come back and paint on top of it quite easily. And also it makes those lines that I scratched in far more interesting when there's only bits and pieces of them. You can't see where they begin and where they end because I get rid of them in parts. I like having the question of where did they begin? How did they get there? And then some of these colours, I mean, it's just, those colours in transparent just look so beautiful. So now that I've got that there and I'm liking where that one is, I'm going to swap it back to the pink. So I hope you guys are like painting on a couple so that you're not getting too crazy about one, because I find when I'm just painting one, I can get too caught up in it. So by moving back and forward, it just keeps me on the move and it keeps my head out of the game, which is what I want when I'm painting. Any thinking that I do happens when I'm not painting, and then when I come into paint, you're on the side, Mickey. Then when I come into paint, I much prefer to just get my head out of the game and just have fun. So my critical brain isn't at work when I'm painting. Now, with this one here, I'm going to start developing it a little bit more. So I want to get some deeper colours on there, and I want to intensify the colours that I do have. So I might go for it with a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to try and put some more of these warm colours. I'm staying with the warm at the moment on this one, just to get a bit more depth in there, a little bit like I did on the other one. We'll see how we go. I've got, this is a colour I had yesterday. It is quite a deep orange.
He's asking, how come the droplets are white there? The streaks of white coming down?
Oh, that's so that happens when the paint's wet. I've sprayed it, and then I go like this over the top. The paint comes off everywhere. I mean, it comes off on the drips because it's wet, so it makes it look white. But actually, that's
underneath it is white, right?
Yeah, because that's just that the water's getting rid of the paint that was there.
Right.
Oh, now that's a good orange. That's too shiny for you to see.
The lights are giving a bit of shine, but anyway.
I hope you can basically see the colours. I'm just going to put this colour in a few places. I'm really loving that. Basically what this colour was that I created yesterday for a few paintings that I was doing is I used fluoro pink and green gold together. And in the right combo you get this beautiful orange. And that is really cool. So you can see I've decided to go very, very bright today on this one. And I repeat a lot of the marks that I do. A lot of them is this sort of
A good time for a song or that?
mark. Yeah, I'm going to keep going on this. So put on another song and I'll just keep developing it.
Alright. Get non-reflective paint to the lights there.
It's because it's dry, you know, it's so wet. Keeps on telling you. I gotta not sing.
Too soon.
We don't want.
Leave your song done.
We don't want two of those in a row, Ricky.
No.
So I'm just putting a little bit, just seeing. This is experimenting. Where do I want my dark colours now? Because I had so much bright on there, but I'm going to smooth it off. I quite liked where it was with all the brights, but I will be going and putting contrast into this next. So I'll swap back over to the other palette now because that's got lots of great brights on there. What did I say, palette? I'll go back to the other canvas now.
Getting your work out there with those boards.
That's good. I need it. Okay. I love the fact that they're so different. It just helps me go from one to the other. So now I'm going to bring in...
Let's keep that box back to do that one. Thank you.
Now I'm going to bring in some lighter colours, as in some opaques, because I've got quite a bit of transparent on there. And now I start going between them. A little bit, so I get a bit more interest going, because I love what's going here as a background, but now I need to really start putting something else on there to make it more interesting. So I'm going to start with this here, which is a very, very light blue. I'll start here, I might develop it, but it's a good place just to kind of get some areas of opacity onto the painting.
Did you pre-mix that? Is that a...
This is just white and a little bit of like that sky bluey colour that's there. Okay. A little bit. It probably had some other. I often, when I'm mixing my white, it's a really good clue. A really good tip is I often put white into one of these tubs, and then I use the brushes that I've been using. So whatever's left on these will go into the white. So it just colours them a little bit, because I love having a little bit of colour but not too much. So when I go onto the canvas, it looks pretty white, but it's not. It's like it has got that kind of skyy blue feel to it. And look, because I'm painting up, I'm going to get a lot of drippage. It doesn't worry me at this point because it's so early that I'm just going to let the drips do what they do and hopefully add to the painting as a whole at some point. And I also want to, because it is quite white, I want to bring in some of the colours that are underneath. So by mixing them like this, I'm getting some of those colours that are underneath, like the grey kind of colours happening in there as well. And if I go up here, I'll get some of that blue. And it starts blending them a little bit. But then it's feeling a little bit too so I'm going to add in a few little bit more bits and pieces more to it. Bit too much green. That's quite nice. And then I'm just adding bits of opacity to the bright colours, just to give myself a little bit more of a composition. I'm not really thinking composition so much as I want to spread things around the canvas to see what I like and what I don't, and just bring in some areas of difference. Like that's quite a nice light green that's mixing with what's underneath. I don't mind that. But clearly in doing this, I lose a lot of those colours, the really beautiful transparent colours, as soon as you bring opaques back on. But that's part of the push and pull. So, and you can pull some of them back by getting rid of, I'll get rid of some of that drippage. And I can pull some of that interesting bit back by doing that. And then I've got these contrasts starting to happen. And it's giving me interesting backgrounds to start working with. Like I've got some shapes going on here, some interesting colours, really lights. That will be really cool to bring some darks on again. I mean, that's where when you're putting white on your canvas and you want it to be a little bit more transparent, that's where it can be quite good to use these cloths, because those colours that I'm getting rid of is creating this nice kind of, just like almost like a veil. Might just put a little bit more on there. What's that brush have on it? So I hope you're all painting along. How are your canvases going? Put it into the chat. I'm just going to put a little bit more over this bit so that when I pull it back, it gives me almost like a veil over there, which is kind of interesting for me. I like getting, you can just see what's going on in the background without it being too much. And this is experimenting, right? Because I don't know whether I'm going to like it or not. So I'm just doing things to see whether I like it. Creating different marks, different areas of light. And then I can come over the top and do something different once it's dry. So the important thing is to try and give them time to dry so that you're not getting rid of everything. I'm nowhere that I want to be on this yet, but at the moment, in this first early layers, I just want to be getting history down. So I want to start developing this palette somewhere. It's nowhere that I want it to be yet, and I'm probably going to start bringing in some warmer colours to send it somewhere else. But while that's drying, I'm going to go back to the pink one.
Work out.
Okay, now that I got this one back, I'm going to hit this one with some dark colours. So I've got a pot here which has got quite a bit of green in it, but I want more black.
What was it, black and a little bit of green, or?
Well, it was just a pot that I had yesterday that I know had quite a bit of green in it, so I'm going to churn it to black. Black, because it does take so much.
Shay's at work again. Car park.
Because I do know that the black takes quite, can take over the other colours, even if it does have a little bit of other colours in it. As soon as I put black into it, it will eat the rest of the colour up. So that is pretty black now. I used a little bit of ink and some paint, and hopefully I can find one of my long brushes. I did make one up. So just bear with me for a moment to see where I put it on my table. Can't find it? Okay, I'll use this one instead. I like using long brushes because it just means that I can't get as much control. Actually, I do want to get some big marks on this, so I want quite a big long brush, which I've got here.
Is that bent as well?
Yeah.
Wow, it's contrasting.
And that's what I want. I want to get some real areas of contrast onto this. Now that I know I've kind of got those areas of bright, now I want to be pulling in some areas of dark to make it more interesting. So I'm just going to get some other marks on here. Now, whatever I put in the background that's dark will pretty much stay there, even if I come over the top of it with transparent. So it's a good chance to get some different kind of marks on there. You can see I've given myself 2 big areas, and now I'm just creating some little bits of interest. And the black, even if you smudge it, it's good because it kind of gives this almost like a shadow of a conversation that's happening in the background. And then what I might do is bring, hopefully it's not too wet, I am going to try and do a little bit of Posca. If I can find my black Posca, which I may not be able to find. Oh, here. And that gives another layer of light pen, almost like a pencil. So if I'm working on a smaller canvas, it's good. I'll use a pencil for this, but it's quite nice to get these marks. You can, it does?
Yeah, pencil,
No, pencil wouldn't show up, but that's why I do the pencil generally on smaller works, but the Poscas just, they work almost like a pencil in terms of just giving you that really fine line that'll be in the background. It won't be showing as much as I'm putting on here now, but it'll be enough that some of it might come through. But just be careful when you are using Poscas that you give them the paint time to dry. I spoil a lot of Poscas because I get too impatient and I want to put them on there. Yeah. But well, that's pretty intense. It's a bit much, but I love it as somewhere to be at this point. They're nice and bright. I've got some really gorgeous colours. And, you know, the next thing I'll do in this is start that push and pull of what's going to look good with bright and with dark. And as you know, the thing that I will go for next is something opaque and light, because that's the third value that I really want to push. So I like pushing my values. So I go really dark, really light, really bright. And between the three of them, I find the balance. So, you know, if you're looking at this surfboard here, you'll see I've got my beautiful dark areas. Where are you? Can you put it on the other camera? You got your beautiful dark areas and then the light areas and the bright areas, and the three come together really well. And that I go, and you can do that. You don't have to go quite as bright as me, but wherever you're going bright, then bring in the darker and the lighter and the opacity too. And that's where you're going to get your biggest difference. And that's where people are going to look for the story. So I'll go back to the other canvas now and see what else I can do on that one while this one dries, because it's got quite a bit of wet paint on it. But I want to keep those heavy blacks on there, so I don't want to use the rag if I can avoid it. And what we might do, Ricky, is put on another song and let everyone paint along.
I'm just going straight to paint?
Yeah. Teddy swims. Cool.
Hey, Amy.
Amy.
Painting along.
I'm seeing all you guys still in the messy middle, which is awesome. I love that you're doing it again.
Oh, the messy middle, yes. Fantastic. Debbie's there too. Debbie got Ross's.
Hey, Debbie. Hey, Sean. So good to see you. Oh yeah, that happens. Well, these big brushes, they just smooth the paint. So where I've got all these drippages and stuff, I also want to have areas that there is no drippage. So these just smooth it to be like a nice flat colour. So I want that change between the flat and, I mean, look at all the changes that are happening in this. It's giving me so many interesting areas to play with that I'm loving. So bringing on, you know, if you remember at the beginning, there was lots and lots of dark and that green. And by bringing all that opacity, there's just some interesting shapes that I'm now starting to get in these quieter areas that will be that a secondary story. So there'll be some composition that'll happen here, but then when you come back, you're going to be thinking, how did these areas happen? And this is how I get it in there, by putting in the work on the earlier layers. So I'm really liking what's going on in this one. It's kind of interesting. I'm interested to know where it wants to go.
So on that pink painting, Shay's just asked, what did you start the colours on? What were the starting colours?
So the starting colours were Indian yellow, fluoro pink, and quinacridone magenta. And then I just mix them in different amounts. As in, I sometimes use them saturated and I sometimes mix them together. You would have seen that orangey colour. That orangey colour that I brought on the second layer was the green gold mixed with the fluoro pink, and that's what brought that real orange into it. So that's how you get those really bright colours, which I really like. And as I said before, now that I've kind of got those two different things going on, I've got that beautiful black and I've got the beautiful whites. My easiest place to go next is to bring in some of the opaque-y, whitey kind of colours, the maybe light pink, white, cream, flesh, of which I've got a couple from yesterday. So this is a fleshy kind of tone. Like I say, what I do at the end, when I'm putting white into here, I then get a brush. That's too big. If I put that into there, it will really change it. But if I'm working with a brush like that size, I'll put it in there and I'll just add really subtle bits of colours in there. And that'll just change it enough that it will also start blending with the palette that I've got on the canvas, just enough to make it a bit more interesting.
While you're on brushes, Meg was just asking, you get a lot of your brushes, you don't just get them from art stores, do you?
Look, I get a lot of brushes from art stores, but I also You know, whenever I'm anywhere, I can be at any type of shop. Ricky will tell you, and I'm always finding interesting things that that I like.
It's like, I think we found shoe brushes and horse brushes out in the country when we were out in the Tenterfield.
Yeah, I'm always trying to find different tools to put paint onto canvas. So yeah, be creative. Try things out. I know someone who uses corn cobs.
Oh, yeah.
And they roll the corn cobs on the canvas. So, you know, there's so many different things that you can use. I just want to get things that are interesting and something that's different so that I can create different types of marks. Like that there is kind of cool because I'm seeing the background.
With that squeegee, when you're not painting, you often see it sets of lights cleaning people's windscreen, don't you? Not really.
Yeah. You're a dag, Ricky. You're a dag.
I did a dag joke.
So then I'm just going to now bring on those different kind of levels of opacity to make the painting more interesting. And I don't have a real rhyme or reason at the moment. It's just I'm going to put them in areas where I can start balancing a little bit. And I can get some different marks going on in there. But for me, it was too kind of, do you know licorice? You know how you used to get licorice as a kid? Not that I liked licorice, but that's what it was starting to look like to me. So I want to take it out of being kind of in that licorice zone. I like it being bright, so I might come back over with some of that orange. But I want to get licorice all sorts.
Remember those?
Yeah, oh, I never liked them, but yes, I do remember them. Did you like them?
No, not really.
No. And because it's quite bright, I'm now trying to sort of bring in some duller colours. So that's I'm just mixing my pinks in with a little bit of the, do you want to put on the palette? Just mixing a bit of that umber into the pink, just to make a slightly more kind of like dusky pink as a balance for some of that. Like that looks really cool with some of those brighter colours. It just instantly takes it off into a different direction that is more interesting for me because they're now contrasting with one another. And it's this dullness that it needed as a balance for everything else in there. But, you know, there'll be a point where I do too much of that and I've got to come back over with bright. And what I'm liking is that there are some bright areas, but actually I really want to get more of that orange in there, as in solid orange. So I'm going to try and see if I can get that out of my pinks and my green gold again. So I've got some fluoro pink here. If I can find my palette knife again. I'm getting stuff everywhere. Here it is. Just going to try and see if I can take that into a orangey tone. Because often when you put these colours together, they can be, the oranges get too, orange is such a difficult one for me sometimes because I love orange, but I've got to get the right orange. It's all too bright. I might start mixing it in that. So that's almost more like a red, which I can use because it's quite nice. But what I'm trying to do now is take it away from being that licorice by having them mix too much and trying to make them a bit more solid in areas so that when you see it, you see that colour as opposed to seeing all the other subtle colours in between. So you can see the dark black that's going on there, but you're not seeing all that mixing of pink and orange and yellow, which makes it, and the black makes it feel a bit too licorice all sorts to me. So I'll just go and get some of that out, and then I might put more pink into areas, and I'll do the same where I'll just get some more solid areas. And then when they blend, they'll there we go. Not there yet, but starting to develop. Just starting to get some more areas of thickness into it now, and some slightly more interesting colours. I might now bring on.
Well, it's late over in Europe. Doing well, Hilda, Ida. 12 o'clock, midnight, sorry.
12 o'clock.
Yeah, midnight.
Good on you, Isla. Thanks for coming.
Hilda's there.
Oh, Hilda's there too.
Spain.
Hey, Hilda.
Spain as well.
Hilda, what's today? Today's Wednesday. Hilda, I'll be talking to you tomorrow.
Well, that's Thursday our time.
Yeah. Oh, for you, I think it'll be, oh, it's late. Yeah, it'll be tomorrow for you too. Hilda's one of my art and soul artists. So poor Hilda is often doing late night calls.
I can't really go to work and stuff.
Now I'm just developing my light colours, getting some interesting other stories going on in there. And this is when it can be quite interesting to bring on something else. So I've just got like this, and you can bring in some, you know, when you've got those kind of colours going on, you can bring back some of the colours underneath, but they're a bit more interesting, like that mark there. I love that. I do, you know I do. It's my second job, plastering.
And cementing. You can use all those tools. Man, well.
You get some really nice marks going on through there. So it's not just straight. That's...
Yeah.
This here is really thick. So when I'm putting it onto the canvas, it's really going on quite buttery, which I quite like. And I'm starting to get a bit more kind of cool change between the lights and the darks now. So this is starting to develop into, you know, those lights, I've got the brights, I've got those darks. And it's just now I'm going to just sort of start developing towards something. It actually might be quite interesting to bring in a cool colour because it's quite warm, and then it's got the lights, but it kind of feels like it needs something else, or something to give it something else. We can bring in a little bit of a slightly more beige. So I'll just start playing around with the palette a little bit now to give me stuff that How are we going time-wise, Ricky?
Just over the hour.
Just over the hour? How's everyone going with your own painting?
Hanging on. Fastidiously.
I quite like bringing some of that funny greeny colour in there. There's some weird colour combinations happening that might be quite interesting.
Michelle, she loves your no fear process.
My what?
No fear.
Oh, yeah. There's no fear here, I can tell you that. There really isn't, because, you know, what I've learned is that this part is where you've got to allow for happy accidents. I don't know any artist who doesn't have that feeling of, you know, if you just let go and kind of trust, you're going to get some interesting things happen. So the more fearless I am in these layers, the better the outcome. And you know what? It's not like I haven't painted before, so I know that. And for all of you, if you paint, then you can always come back to something that you're comfortable with. It doesn't matter how many layers it takes. If you've painted, you can always bring your marks back on, the ones that you love. If it's been there on the canvas once, then you know you can bring it back on again. And it's in doing things like this that I'm just going, what will happen if? Will it get more interesting if I keep going? Or will I lose what I had there before? But I actually quite like all these changes that are going on between these layers. Just trying to get difference into those. What do I want to do next? What have I got? So that's the green and the fluoro. Just seeing what I get out of that. It's like a muddy orange, which could be quite good. I sort of want to bring a little bit more mud on now because there's so many bright colours. I think I'm getting paint on my face.
Not so far.
Not so far.
You've done well. Oh, you're going for the long brush. But how many, those brushes are the ones you tape together, aren't they?
Yeah. My goal is to not be too exacting with my marks. So by having these long brushes, I can get some interesting marks in there and not be too exact.
I think we've got a few late arrivals. They must have thought it was.
Hi there, if you've arrived late, it's okay, we're still on. I'm going to put a little bit more green into that to make it a little bit dirtier.
Oh.
So it's going a bit too dark. I'm going to try and, shall we just get that brush off? Yeah, that's kind of good. That's a good colour. And so all those bits that I'm bringing on now are just bringing in some really interesting stuff that I'm quite liking. Odd stuff. So it's like I need to bring odd on so I can go, okay, which bits do I now want to keep and which bits do I want to go? But I need to have them there to sort of work it out to begin with. So I don't want it to all be pretty. As you know, I kind of like go between that kind of pretty ugly thing. And to do that, I need to be prepared to make some ugly stuff. You know, that purpley colour with that green colour is pretty ugly. But, you know, I'm starting to get really nice stuff going on this. Some nice areas, you know, even at this early stage, when you come to the painting, you've got this beautiful big light area and this dark area next to each other, which kind of grab your attention. But there's enough other interesting stuff that it's starting to lead you around. So it's not a bad beginning that I've got on this one. I'm kind of enjoying where this one is. And I'll go back over to the other one and see where that is, because I've did quite a bit to this one. And this is in a completely different place. Lots and lots and lots of light.
grey, right?
Yeah, which is there's lots and lots of good stuff here. It's just what am I going to bring onto it now? So I'm just going to check that it's all dry enough, which it appears to be pretty dry. And then I might bring on some other colours and marks. So I've just put a blue onto the palette.
Yeah, just for anyone that came in late, this will be on replay on YouTube later on. So definitely, Shay, if you're heading home or up in the car.
So I'm just, you get carried away, don't you?
Well, I've got to read and try and change cameras at the same time.
Keep up, Ricky, keep up.
I'm trying, okay.
So I'm just kind of developing the palette on this one now. I'm bringing in different blues and also sort of different greys. I'm not going to send it off into too much of a huge direction, except I think I'll bring back some of those sort of colours soon. But I do like bringing in these subtle changes in the blues. I'm working a little bit more with blues these days, blues and greys. See what that does. It's a little bit more purpley. But I think I might go to some more of that colour and see what that does. Such a nice colour. Quite like getting drippage on this one at these early stages. My palettes are starting to go on to each other, which is good in a way because then that some of the other colours are starting to interact with these ones, which will give me the opportunity for happy accidents.
I thought you were cross-pollinating palettes there.
I have begun cross-pollinating. See, when I blend them, I can get some interesting things without it going too bright. It's like this kind of dirty something, which is kind of interesting. I do like on this one how I can scrape back into it and get some interesting marks. I don't like that, all that brightness together there. That's kind of cool. You on the palette?
Yeah.
And I mix some of these colours together. You can get some dull opaque kind of colours. Remember my goal at the moment is just to kind of like start getting the 3 values on here that I love to work with. So I'm just wanting to get more of those lights, brights and darks, just to sort of see, okay, where do I want to go from here? Do I like this palette? Where do I want to take it? So now that I've done that, I might grab some of those darker tones that I've got on here and get some areas of brush back in here. I might put some more of that dark umber on there. Sorry, the raw umber to mix with the black. And I'll put some more of the black ink just to make it actually move a little bit easier. So I often put ink onto my palette when I'm wanting to get a little bit more of a really easy spread of colour across. No music, Ricky.
Oh, I wasn't sure how long you're going to be.
How we got? We might do one more song, everybody. We'll do one more song as I keep going with this one to get some more interest into it, and then see where we're at.
This is one of your favourites.
What's that? She going? hope you've all enjoyed it, guys. I'm going to kind of keep the 2 palettes going. This one needs to get more interesting. I'm really loving where the bright to. And it's just a matter of developing now. That's a really good first paint on these 2 pieces. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. Again, thank you to Bluetti for the backup power that they've provided us. And thank you, Ricky, for everything you've done. And thanks for coming, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the paint jam. Please know that we're going to do them every month. So if you've got interesting palettes that you want me to paint with, or you've got questions, then send them into the Paint Jam group. That's probably the best place to put them. If you're not in the Paint Jam group, then please maybe send an email to hello@denirayneau.com or search it up. It's called the Paint Jam Community. But thanks for coming along for Earth Day. I'm glad that we got a bit of green and blue happening onto the palette today. And enjoy, keep painting, and please put whatever you painted into the Paint Jam community. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thanks to everyone from around the world. There's many people all over the planet.
So good, so good. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm getting goosebumps. It's awesome. All right.
Enjoy your Wednesdays.
Wednesday and Tuesdays. Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye.